Hey everybody, Still Flame here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you MAG for the PlayStation 3. That's the massive action game, but just call it MAG. Now, unfortunately, I had to cut out the audio for this video, so let's just throw on some background music here. Yep, that sounds good. Um, Also, I do pretty bad in this video because I was out of practice and had a new character, so I die a lot, but the point is to show the game anyway. So without further ado, I'll get started on talking to you about the graphics, which in this game are par for modern first-person shooters. They're nothing that'll squeeze you by the leg and shake you with incredible awesomeness, but they're also not terrible. I've seen worse graphics, but the really interesting thing is that for having 256 players in a game with very few frame rate, sorry, these graphics are pretty impressive and that they were able to achieve that without any lag or anything. So the sound is also pretty good. It's, again, nothing incredibly special, but it does the job. It sounds good. They did a good job of recording it. Everything sounds like it's supposed to, but there's no sounds that make you go, wow. Wonder how in the hell they did that. It's just par again. The gameplay is kind of a mixed bag. The combat's really fun and intense. Once you get into a fight, it's pretty interesting. Sometimes you have a fight with one guy that'll last forever. Boom, headshot. And sometimes you guys will get into a fight and it's something instant. As you can tell, I snipe mostly, so there's not really close combat fighting for me, but even then I still do get into some closer fights here and there, but sniping usually gets me dead during that. But on that subject, there are a variety of weapon styles, but unfortunately that's a pretty small variety. You can use assault rifles, light machine guns, and sniper rifles, but there's a very little difference between how they all play, unless you're using different kinds of them. There are different kinds, but it's not one of those games where they throw you 50 different assault rifles that are all exactly the same. But you do change the way that you play a little bit, but for the most part everybody's kind of on the same team, if you know what I mean. But there are also various other kinds of weapons like SMGs and shotguns and pistols, but the main groups are snipers, light machine guns, and assault rifles. Anyway, the really big dent in this game's fun is how long it takes to get into the action. The fights are intense, but actually getting into a fight with somebody feels like it's in, I don't know, Bible school. If you die, then you have to wait a really long time to spawn. It's based on a spawn timer for your squad, so sometimes you'll die and get to instantly spawn, and sometimes it'll take you up to 20 or 30 seconds of just sitting there watching your bunker get destroyed, which is a really big bummer. But even worse is when you're forced to spawn really far away from the action, like if your bunker gets destroyed, then it can take 1 or 2 minutes just to get back to where everybody else is, which, after waiting 30 seconds, really sucks, and then you get there, and if you die instantly, then you gotta wait another 2.5 minutes just to fight somebody. So that's a really big buzzkill in this game. But the levels, although really big, are designed very well. They flow, and the way that they accompany the game types really makes it work. There are a lot of different playing surfaces. There are hills for snipers, close quarters environments for shotguns and pistols. But yeah, every level is a really mixed bag of terrain. And there are also various types of game modes. As I said, each level accompanies its different kinds of game modes. Well, the game modes in this game are pretty interesting. There's standard team deathmatch, but that mode only hosts 64 players in a game, and the maps are somewhat smaller. There's also other modes where you have to complete certain objectives, which is kind of interesting because these objectives are a little more different from other first-person shooters. It's not like where you have to capture a flag or something. In this game it's more like we need to defend those oil depots, and if they capture the freaking oil towers, then you get pushed back and you gotta defend more, and then eventually your base from being destroyed. Which it's really fun once you get into it, but at first it's a little daunting. So that's really all I had to say about the game. I'd say if I had to rate it, I would go maybe 7 out of 10, 6 or 7 out of 10, merely because, yeah, let's go with 6.5 out of 10, because although it's fun at times, it kind of really gets averaged out by how everything else is so mediocre, and some things like the getting into the action takes so damn long. So that's going to wrap it up. Stay tuned to www.renorian.com for more gaming reviews and news.